Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Mantis and Meg. Guys, happy Halloween. I hope you guys are having a very fun and safe Halloween. Guys, I am back with another video. I got my skeleton shirt on today. Guys, I wanted to make this video for you guys because I was sitting around thinking it's Halloween. It's the spookiest time of the year. Who are the top 4 most scary UFC fighters in the UFC? But before we get into that, please like and subscribe. I will drop all my links down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get right into it. The number 1 scariest fighter on my list, in my opinion, and honestly, this is not even an opinion, this is the fact, is this man right here, Francis the Predator Ngannou. Now, this picture alone should tell you everything you need to know. I'm honestly not going to say too much because if you're a UFC fan, you know how dominant and how scary of a fighter this man has been throughout his UFC career, right? He has losses, right? But we all recognize that Francis Ngannou has that thing, right? Francis Ngannou has that power where he touches you, you are going to die. We all recognize that. So I'm not really going to talk too much about Francis Ngannou, but for me, he's number 1 in terms of scariest fighters who ever walked the earth in UFC history. Now, he has some losses, like I said, but when it comes down to if I'm a regular person or if I'm an elite fighter and I'm looking across the cage and I'm seeing Francis Ngannou across from me, I am terrified, period. I'm terrified that he has that God-given earthly, unearthly alien power where he touches you, you will die, period. Now, is he the scariest fighter in UFC history? Yes, but this guy that's coming up is scary in a different way because we all know the Eagle doesn't have the KO power. However, you know that if you're in a cage match with Khabib Nurmagomedov, you are also going to die. Why? In a different sense. You're not going to get knocked out. However, he is going to run across the cage, not give a crap about whatever you're throwing on the feet, not give a damn about your striking, but he's going to go out and absolutely maul you. Absolutely maul you. The takedown is coming. We all know the takedown is coming. And the problem is I think guys train and had training camps for the takedowns. However, there was nothing they could do to stop it. Nothing they could do to stop. And I think Khabib knew that, right? He's like, yo, you can train your whole life. No matter what, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to inflict pain. I'm going to maul you. Whether it takes 1 round or 5 rounds, it does not matter. Now, granted, he's second on my list for that reason, but he's not the most, I don't want to say scary guy for the sense that he's going to put a jab into you and knock you out, right? But in terms of when you walk into the octagon, you know you have 0 chance against Khabib Nurmagomedov. You have 0 chance. The closest guy, in my opinion, honestly, was Conor McGregor, which is still crazy to even think about. But Khabib Nurmagomedov would go into fights with the utmost confidence, knowing that his takedowns were so elite that no one could do anything about it. And guys would try to leg kick him, knock him out, but it wouldn't matter because he believed in himself so much and he worked so hard that once he got you to the ground, he knew the fight was over, you knew the fight was over, the crowd knew the fight was over, and the world knew the fight was over. And I think, in my opinion, that's the scariest thing that any fighter could ever face, in my opinion. Now, going to third, Sham. This one is a little bit older. He's been in the UFC and he's been around before the UFC for a while. But similar to Francis Ngannou, because he has that power. Same with Francis Ngannou. However, the differences between Poatan and Francis Ngannou is that Francis was a heavyweight. Poatan was a middle. We have never seen a guy with this much power and just KO anyone from knees to elbows to kicks to that left hand, that solid rock left hand that we all know if it touches your chin, you're going to sleep. We have never seen anything like it in the sport. And for me, in my opinion, I could have put him above Khabib. I just think because Khabib was so dominant with 29-0 and winning the belt and just dominating guys through straight grappling, that's scary, especially if you're a striker. There's nothing you can do about that if you're a striker. However, I want to put Poatan third because, in my opinion, he has that power similar to Francis, but he's smaller, right? Now, would he move up to heavyweight in the next couple of fights? Probably, right? But prime Poatan was a smaller dude, skinny dude that regardless of the weight cut would touch you, you're going to sleep. And I think that's why we see guys be so hesitant, right? We saw Izzy in the first fight be a little bit hesitant. Granted, that first round, he almost knocked him out at the end of the first round. But I think we saw Izzy in the back foot, trying to counter. But Poatan will go forward. And he knows, and the world knows, and you know that if he lands a left hook, it is over. And I think that's what makes Poatan so scary, because you have to basically run for 25 minutes, right? You have to basically hide and be on the defensive for 25 minutes, because if Poatan lands one shot, we saw in the Ankalaev fight, right? Poatan landed a right hand, and fucking Ankalaev shot a takedown knowing he was hurt because he was so defensive, because all Poatan will do is go forward, right? And it's a scary, scary sight to see Poatan staring at you from across the octagon like this, stone cold, and go forward and look to find a knockout, which he did against Ankalaev. And for that reason, I have Poatan as my third scariest UFC fighter ever. Now, this last guy, a little bit controversial. Some may argue he's not scary. Some may argue he's this. Some may argue he's that. You know, people put him at the mountaintop of UFC fighters. Some people put him at the bottom. Some people don't even want to say his name. But for me, guys, Jon Jones is the scariest UFC fighter in the history of the sport, period. It's not close. He not only wants to beat you, Jon Jones wants to inflict pain. He wants to hurt you. He wants to make sure that you never walk again. He wants to make sure that you never see again. Shout out to Tom Aspinall. He wants to make sure that you never have a liver again. He wants to make sure that you can never fight again. Jon Jones, in my opinion, is the scariest UFC fighter in UFC history. Not only because, obviously, the record, obviously the accolades, obviously because he wins, obviously because his fighting style is incredible. You know, he has an advantage over everyone because he's 6'4", long, lanky, rangy, right? Can wrestle, strike, grapple, all that stuff, right? What separates him from the other three guys is that he wakes up thinking about how, in what ways can I hurt you, and he's been able to do that going throughout his UFC career. So, guys, without further ado, that is my video for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Once again, all my links will be down in the description below. I will be live streaming tomorrow night for the David Onama versus Steve Garcia card. Granted, the card's going to be shit, but whatever. Guys, I appreciate you guys so much. Without further ado, I am out of here. See you guys very, very soon.